now and then I watch a random sport. And at this time of the year, it's lacrosse. Okay. May Madness is starting this weekend, and it's lacrosse's version of March Madness, obviously, by the name. The best lacrosse teams in the country battling it out, which are some of the only lacrosse teams.
Right, I was about to say it's not that many, but okay.
So I started watching lacrosse in grad school because I went to Syracuse and I had to cover both men and women's lacrosse. So every now and then, I'd like to check up on them. So let's get to the tea. Mm-hmm. On Monday of this week, remember, Mervin, I texted you. Okay. Did. On Monday of this week, I was minding my business, just trying to look to see who Syracuse was playing in the first round of the tournament. And randomly, I stumbled across a very wild sequence of events. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are listening right now, buckle up because it is so much going on in the story, and I will try my best to get to all the pieces because I know y'all don't know who these people are. All right, but it's some tea, okay? So, Syracuse's men's lacrosse team started this season with championship aspirations, but they stumbled to the finish line, entering the tournament unseeded. Their big distraction: their leading scorer, Scanlan, arrested in front of Manley Fieldhouse as he was walking into practice on game day. Okay. Now, lacrosse star. This is not a regular player. This is the star of the team. Lacrosse star Scanlan is a two-time All-American attackman who led the team in scoring with 24 goals in just 9 games. That's so I just want y'all to...
That's a lot.
Yes, I just want y'all to kind of grasp his importance on this team. So, he was on his way to practice when he was booked into jail on charges relating to domestic violence. Yes, that just took a turn. He was charged with 4th-degree criminal mischief and harassment stemming from said domestic violence. Now, I want y'all to remember those charges: criminal mischief and harassment, but not assault. Just criminal mischief and harassment. All right, so let's get to the story. According to police, the arrest stemmed from a domestic violence incident with a young woman that happened on April 17th at a South Campus apartment, which I used to live on South Campus. I'm just, reminiscing. But back to the story. So let's get back to what went down. According to the victim's statement, Scanlan and the woman got together during a night of drinking, and the two started arguing after they met up. The argument escalated when Scanlan allegedly broke the girl's phone in, quote, a jealous rage, and reached its most violent stage around 3:30 a.m. on April 18th when the two began physically fighting at Scanlan's apartment. Again, this is the victim's statement to police. Scanlan's charges stem from 2 separate incidents during the night: misdemeanor criminal mischief, accusing him of breaking her phone by dropping it in the toilet and throwing it to the ground 2 times, and a non-criminal violation of harassment, accusing him of hitting her with the bathroom door and pushing her to the ground on her back after entering. But that's not all, she says, that happened. After all that drama, the fight then moves to Scanlan's apartment. Now, some of this stuff happened at her apartment. It's just a lot going on with this story. They were at his apartment, they were at her apartment, they were at his apartment. But the juice of the story is at his apartment, Scanlan's apartment, where he allegedly still had her phone. And she was telling him he's going to pay for it because at this point he's already damaged her phone once or twice. This is when he reportedly slammed her phone to the ground and shattered it. Who says it was working anyways, because he already had threw it to the ground once before and threw it in the toilet.
Right.
That's when a girl says she tried to punch Scanlan in the face, and that's when they fell on the bed fighting. After they fell on the bed, Scanlan allegedly wrapped his arms and legs around her on the bed, refusing to let her go, squeezing so tightly that this woman says she feared she might die. That's what she told police. Her exact quote from the police statement was, "He continued squeezing and I thought he was going to kill me because I was having difficulty taking in air because of how hard he was squeezing me." She says the squeezing lasted for a minute and she reportedly screamed the majority of the time, saying, quote, "I was crying hysterically because I was feeling significant pain in my left side rib cage." Now, Scanlan allegedly then asked her if she wanted to call 911, but the woman said no because she didn't want to get him in trouble. That's when she said he apologized and they spent the night together. Now, let's fast forward to 11 days later. And let me repeat that. 11 days later, the girl's ribs were still hurting from the incident. So she went to the doctor and found out she had a bruised rib. So let's get back to those charges, shall we? Although she told police that he damaged her phone and physically assaulted her, he's not being charged with the assault because, listen to this, and when I say listen, I want y'all to listen good. Under New York state law, Scanlan cannot be charged with an assault unless there are provable injuries from the dispute. Physically attacking someone is not enough. Now, you may be at home saying, a bruised rib is a provable injury. And I agree. But once again, under New York state law, she would have had to suffer an injury that caused physical impairment and or substantial pain to rise to the level of a misdemeanor assault charge. Being physically attacked, even resulting in bruising, is not enough. Although she was in pain for 11 whole days after the incident. So much so that she had to go to a doctor. Now, I don't know about you, Mervin, but if I had a bruised rib, I'm pretty sure I'd be having a hard time breathing and laughing. And you know I like to laugh.
You do a lot. At my expense, might add, but yeah.
Absolutely. When you look like that, it's definitely,
oh my God,
you just have a lot of laughable features. I'm sorry.
I'm just sitting here minding my business, listening to you.
Right. Okay, so back to Scanlan. It's still some more tea, y'all. Keep listening, because that ain't the end of the tea. So Scanlan was initially suspended from the team 2 days after the incident happened for violating team rules and expectations. But what happens when you're the star player? What happens?
You get star treatment, right?
Oh, you do? Okay.
Most times. Most times.
Well, that's what happened here. The suspension was lifted after a couple of weeks. But if you thought the tea was over, it is not. After his suspension was lifted, the team captains got together and told the coaches that if Scanlan was allowed to practice with the team, the players would walk off of the field. Now, this is what I'm talking about. The players are deciding to hold him accountable since the coaches wouldn't for his alleged actions. So Scanlan had to practice separately with a member of the coaching staff. So let's get back to the arrest, which happened 3 weeks after the incident. He was obviously suspended again, and his high school coach says he believes the damage has been done at Syracuse and with his team, and that Scanlan might as well transfer. Since then, dozens of SU players posted a statement on Instagram promising to raise awareness in the fight against domestic violence, and shared a link to donate to the One Love Foundation, which is a group that was formed after the murder of a women's lacrosse player back in 2010 by her boyfriend, a Virginia lacrosse player. Now, Mervin, I mean, we talked about this on Monday when I, stumbled across the tea. I literally stumbled across this tea. For one, this should be a bigger story. Okay? If this was a black athlete,
yeah, it'd be all over the news. It wouldn't be no question about it.
Story.
Right.
But it's also lacrosse, so I mean, it would still be a bigger story if it was a black athlete. But New York state law.
Yeah.
So I can physically attack you, and as long as you don't have any bruises, as long as they aren't serious bruises, I won't be charged.
Right. So, because when we talked about this the other day, I was like, okay, that's what I'm not getting. Like, what constitutes serious? Because I would think, like we said, a bruised rib that it's hard to breathe with, that's pretty serious to me. Like, do we have to have like serious like cuts? Like, I have to have my eye socket busted. Like, what has to happen for?
I gotta be literally hanging out.
Right, for this to be considered something that would allow this man to be put in jail. Like, you would think that you would be looking for, I don't know, if you're looking for an out, it's not this way. Like, it's not like you have to meet a certain threshold to be put in jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's a weird way to go about it. And again,
very weird.
Like, because then what defines that threshold? And it's like, this man beat her up. Like,
allegedly.
Allegedly broke her phone, which I don't know if you mentioned it just now, but I know when we talked about it earlier, you said he paid for the phone. So
he gave her $500. So
right.
He paid for if listen, Syracuse is full of rich kids. If she had an iPhone, that's not even half. But I mean, it's something.
It's something. But like I know we have to say allegedly, but come on, we know what's up. Like, this story's not going like this if there wasn't some truth to it. Usually. But yeah, hey, look, like you said, shout out to the team for standing up for the woman.
The coaches clearly weren't.
The coaches weren't. He wasn't gonna do it, obviously. And so the team was like, "Hey, look, we don't like this dude right now. Like, we're not rocking with him. So if he's
Their
here, we're out."
scorer.
Right.
Mind you, he's been suspended for a few weeks, and
right.
he still is leading in scores.
Right.
One game, he had like 7 goals in one single game. Like, this man's a big deal. Mm-hmm. But shout out to the team. Like, we don't care who you are. We don't tolerate putting your hands on women, allegedly.
Right. Well, no, we don't tolerate it, period. And you are alleged to have done it. So,
right.
Yeah. We ain't rocking with you right now, buddy.